answer my question. Did you consider
No.
Section 153?
No.
You know what Section 153 is?
Please answer the question.
Yes, I know.
Yes,
Okay.
you know.
Now tell me what it is.
It is written notice to alleged offender.
Don't you think that would have sufficed to get the alleged offender out of the property and not cause any harm?
Beg your pardon.
Let me put it differently. Who's your matter of concern? Grandfather.
Yes.
Okay? So if grandfather is removed from the property, is there still a concern?
No.
No.
Yes.
Okay, so basically if I remove grandfather from the whole situation, there's no matter of concern.
If you remove the grandfather who is the breadwinner, they'll have no money to survive. So the children will still be in need of child care and protection.
Okay? Go to section 161, man. What does that say?
Issues of contribution order.
Contribution order. So in fact, the court can make a contribution order that grandfather still has to make a contribution. So that also relieves that concern.
No.
Not.
Is
But ma'am, I'll repeat, you just said if grandfather is removed, there won't be a concern, except for financial reasons. Now I'm telling you, in terms of section 161, the court can make an order that the grandfather still needs to support.
the grandfather is not really obligated to support the child because he is not the biological father of the child. So that there might be some complications in that.
Once again, you're not listening to the question. I'll tell you, in terms of section 161, the court can make such an order. So if the court makes such an order, grandfather's out of the house, grandfather doesn't have any, gives a financial contribution, there's no issue. Am I correct?
Please answer the question.
Yes, you are correct.
Thank you. So, to get back on what you just said and you admitted, you removed this children without fully investigating this matter.
And I asked Your Worship, I asked the court to grant me permission to do further investigations.
All right, stop you there.
You
Okay,
ready?
well done. One thing I want to explain to you. This is the Kloppisch case, hey?
Yes.
Okay. And guys, this is a very good question. Why not remove the perpetrator or the alleged perpetrator? Why do you think? In this case, remember, there's an allegation that there's a history of abuse. There is a suspicion that the grandmother is tolerating the abuse. All these factors must be taken into account to say that yes, there is that option. We recognize it, Mr. Van der Berg, but in this matter, it's in the best interest of the children to be removed from the entire situation, because the children also will have to be forensically assessed. And then we want to protect the child against any possible contamination. I don't know how he will nail me on that in court, but that is the argument. As a social worker, you need to get the child out of the suspected contaminated situation, secure, get assessed, get the facts so that you can make a final recommendation. And that's how you were very nervous, and I understand I'm like that every time. Don't worry. Okay, but you did well, you recovered well. Good work. Okay. Strengths and a weakness, Mr. Van der Berg?
Weakness was not prepared.
Not prepared?
Because we're dealing with children's lives. Forget about anyone else.
Yeah.
So if you go to court unprepared, this is what's going to happen. Okay.
Strength?
Strength is, you recovered very well. Okay. Just please don't admit to stuff that you do not know.
That's when we're nervous, we do that.
Yeah.
When you're nervous, and I understand that, I know what it feels like, you're very nervous. But like you said, if you prepare excellently, you have a very smaller chance of making mistakes like that. All right.
Do you have questions? You're right. Relaxing now.
Remember, mock trial. No
Yeah.
worry. All right, next is Lesesa. Okay. Do you guys prefer if I give you the feedback personally later in writing, my feedback, or do you want me to give it now in court? All right. Later. All right. Mixed message. Never mind. Okay.
What do you think, sir?
Please repeat your questions.
So I was just reading you.
Oh, sorry.
You're really nervous.
Yes, Your Worship.
When did you remove these children?
On the 28th of March 2016,
So you only removed the children on the 28th of March.
yes, Your Worship.
When did you receive this complaint?
On the 25th of March 2016, Your Worship.
Okay. So am I correct in stating that this didn't take priority?
The actual reason as to why I removed the children on the 28th of March 2016 was that I wanted to find a place of safety which was suitable for the children to ensure that there was space available for the children to be placed at the place of safety, Your Worship.
Okay, admirable. But once again, so you took 2 days to find a place of safety. So obviously there wasn't that great a concern.
There was greater concern, Your Worship, hence I wanted to ensure that I fully investigate the places of safety.
Okay. Did you inform the mother immediately? Or within 24 hours?
Of the removal, Your Worship?
Yes.
Yes, Your Worship, as I provided the mother with a Form 36.
Would you page to your Form 36? You have it in front of you.
I don't have it, Your Worship.
Okay, perfect. Right, Your Worship. Tell me, when did you inform the mum of the children?
On the 26th of March 2016, Your Worship.
So you just testified you only removed the children today.
That's incorrect, Your Worship. I made a mistake.
How did you remove the children? And where?
I removed the children from 12 PNF Street in Klerksdorp where they previously resided, and I removed them with a Form 36, which provides me with an authority to remove the children, Your Worship.
When did you inform the mom?
Concerning what, Your Worship?
Yes, when you removed the children.
When did I inform the biological mother?
Yes.
On the 28th of March, Your Worship.
So you only informed her on the 28th of March.
Yes, Your Worship.
So you contravened the Act. You need time to think.
No, Your Worship.
So you contravened the Act.
That's a mistake that I made, Your Worship.
What is the mistake?
That I contravened the act.
Just for learning curve. You're not prepared. And I'm not asking questions now. I just showed you the document where you told me you removed the children on the 26th. You're contradicting yourself. You're not prepared.
Accuracy. Remember, I taught you in class your Form 36, your court report, and what you say has to be exactly the same.
Guys, the Act says must. There's no discretion. Not if, when, or when you feel like it. Must. So if it's not done within that time, your action is unlawful.
Do you know what Mr. van der Berg is referring to right now? Just don't ignore me. Do you? Yes or no? Okay, notification of the parents to that you're removing the children. So according to what Lesesa said now, it sounded like you only informed the mother, what is it, 2 or 3 days later?
Yes.
Yeah, which is illegal. Do you understand what's happening? You understand, Lesesa? No worries, learning.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to move on from that point for now. Explain to court why you didn't use the prescribed form.
Your Worship, I used the form as a template to compile the report.
So in your infinite wisdom, you decided to alter it. So the people who designed it doesn't know better.
No, I did not alter it, Your Worship.
Not. You have your form 38 in front of you.
Yes, Your Worship.
Which form is it? Is it stated on there?
Your Worship. Can the attorney please repeat the question?
Please repeat the question.
Is your document properly indicated? Is your heading correct? Does it state form 38?
No, Your Worship, and it's a mistake that I made.
Does it state the court file number?
Yes, Your Worship.
Really? Did you indicate where? Indicate on your document where it's indicated?
What page?
On the first page, Your Worship.
We're on the first page. Could you show either me or the court?
It's indicated on one that I
Also, I'll put it to you, it's not. Also, I'll put it to you that you haven't even bothered indicating the department on there. Are you disputing, Sam?
That's a mistake that I made, Your Worship.
But so you just testified that it's on the document. So now it's a mistake or it's not a mistake? Why did you only bring this matter when you removed the children on this 26th? Why did you only bring this matter or compile the report on the 28th of March?
To ensure that I include all the required information in the report, Your Worship.
So once again, you also did not comply by bringing the matter to the attention of the court within the next day.
Please explain yourself.
That's a mistake that I made, Your Worship.
In which court did you bring this matter?
Your Worship, may the attorney please repeat the question?
Please repeat the question.
Sir, listen to what I'm asking. I'm not speaking in a different dialect or something. I ask you, which court did you bring this matter? Which court has jurisdiction?
The court at which the children reside around the area that
Now,
the
which
children
court are we? You brought this matter to which court?
Vanderbilt Children's Court.
Where does the children reside?
The children, before they were removed, they resided in Blackstock, but currently they're residing in Potchefstroom at a place of safety, Your Worship.
And yet you decided to bring them this application to a different court about 90 kilometers away.
This was because it was for the case of the report in the case of the mock trial, Your Worship.
This court doesn't have the jurisdiction, sir, to even entertain this matter. Now tell me, when your report is the children's residential address, you quickly refer me to it.
Where the children previously resided, it's written under family composition, Your Worship.
Where?
Where it stated that they resided with their biological mother, the last sentence, they resided under family composition, Your Worship. They resided with their biological mother, maternal grandparents, namely Mr. and at 3 Street, Blackstock.
So once again, you prefer to alter this document to suit you.
In what way, Your Worship?
You did not use the completed and correct forms. Also refer you, I'll move on from that for now. Sources of information. You made a nice table of contents, Mr. Piet Steenkamp. Are you with me?
Yes, Your Worship.
Mr. Steenkamp mentioned to the undersigned social worker that his father, Mr. Saki, allegedly raped him at a young age. Am I correct?
Yes, Your
And
Worship.
his mother didn't do anything or did nothing about it. Ms. Annette Blom confirmed the allegations. You make reference to paragraph 8. Which pages? Paragraph 8 or page 8?
Your Worship.
Take me to page 8. You make reference to those pages.
That is where the affidavit is attached, Your Worship.
Well, I'm on page 8 currently. No, I do not have any such documents in front of me.
Behind the addendum A, Your Worship. And it's indicated in brackets, see addendum A. Yes, Your Worship.
So once again, you've made reference to the wrong pages.
No, Your Worship.
I'll put it to you so that at the end of the day, on my indexed list in front of you is on page 7.
Behind addendum A, that's where the affidavit will be attached, Your Worship.
Tell me, was there ever any cases open? Correct?
No, Your Worship.
None.
Yes, Your Worship.
Who provided you with this information?
Mr. Pete Steenkamp, Your Worship.
Did you confirm any alternative details?
Of where that case was opened.
Yeah, why did he open up a case?
The mother did not open the case because at that time Mr. Pete Steenkamp was very young.
Why did you not? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Was there any alternative sources quoted or found?
Alternatives.
Yeah. Did you find any alternative sources to coming to this understanding that he was allegedly raped?
Ms. Annette Blom confirmed the allegations, Your Worship.
Okay. That would be denied in any case. Now tell me, what did they see to cause them concern?
What they mentioned to me when they came to my office, Your Worship, is that when Miss Elsie was bathing the children, they saw how red one of the children's vagina was.
Is that the only reason?
No, Your Worship. That's what they saw.
Okay. So that's the only reason for concern. They saw a red vagina.
No, Your Worship.
What else?
Also that because allegedly Mr. Saki Steenkamp raped Mr. Pete Steenkamp at a very young age, so that's a concern to them. They are concerned about the safety and well-being of the children.
Okay. So this being such a great concern, I'm presuming you immediately took this child for medical examination?
No, Your Worship.
Not. Why not?
That was going to be conducted. That was going to be conducted after the court granted me in order to conduct an investigation into the matter.
Do you need the permission of the court to do that, Mr. Lesesa?
No, Your Worship.
So why did you fail to do that?
That's a fault on my part, and I apologize to the court, Your Worship.
Very serious mistake.
Yes, Your Worship.
Thank you, Mr. Lesesa. Well done. Good.
Okay, I was actually going to...
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I actually wanted to elaborate on that but a bit more as well.
So listen to this.
Yeah. Guys, we need to get consent to go and take the child to adults as well. And it's important. What evidence do you guys have if you did not take this child to a doctor?
If it's a dis ek 'n belangrike ding wat jy nou sê. If it's a listen to the conversation. If it's a child protection investigation, I remove the child because there's a debate among academics. I decide as the social worker to make a case, followed by a J88 examination.
Yes.
I do not need the permission of the parents, especially if they are,
Strictly speaking, you would,
even if they are the accused.
even if they're the accused, and alternatively from court. And
Okay.
that's why it's so important to move quickly.
What if it's a Friday night?
There's always a magistrate on standby.
Is it?
got to prosecute and they may show us them. Because it comes down to, if you didn't do it, now I'm not going to go into biology lesson. Is that the only reason it can be read?
Yeah. No.
I can think of 100 reasons.
Yeah.
Okay, so if there's no evidence or proof, I'm telling you not to remove this child unlawfully or premature.
Remember what I said to some of you who were in my combi? It's important to convince the presiding officer of the risk. So it's not just a red vagina. It's a red vagina, very important. The grandmother, in response to the query of the red vagina, said it is the grandfather can't leave the children alone, and that can be interpreted in many ways. But that, with other family members, the same person being accused, and so you've got to, you know what comes in here is being able to articulate yourself well in writing and verbally to paint the picture of risk. But if you just say red vagina here and a little bit, it doesn't seem convincing, it does seem unnecessary to remove the children. Alright, so for all of you who's going to testify further, keep that in mind. And it's very important what you said about getting permission from a presiding officer. For J88, if the parents disagree.
Okay.
Can you, Yuan,
Yes.
what legislation must I refer them to for that specific part? Because there is a debate at the moment among colleagues. So I just want to know.
I will quickly look it up now. As soon
Okay,
as we've got a,
all right. Very important that, yeah. Some social workers disagree.
you're dealing with the law of evidence as well as your rights as parents. Because your rights as parents, you're sitting with, I have a right to consent to medical examinations, etc. So it will fall under that section.
Okay,
Because if I do not give consent,
yeah,
and once again, if it's life-threatening, I need to bring an application,
yeah,
even if I'm withholding it unreasonably.
yeah,
If I've got a valid reason, then the court needs to consider it.
yeah.
So, but yeah, I will quickly look at that person.
Ek weet van die medical evidence in sure. Your lecturer is also learning every day. Okay.
Okay.
Next.
Any questions? You are still fine.
Strength and weakness. Obviously.
Weakness? We're not using correct form. It's not just you. Most of you. There's a lot of sections that you guys just are doing it overall. I'm trying to touch everyone in a different aspect so that we get a broad perspective of what it is. But there's a lot of paragraphs that we just delete. Why? It's important. It's in there for a reason. Yes.
Can I answer the question?
Of course.
Dr. Tutor, our lecturer, right? She instructed us that instead of using the actual form that is really filling it in, you must actually use it as a template. Hence, everyone is doing it.
Yeah.
And then for the paragraph that we did not include because we didn't have information yet. So instead of it being tedious and stating this cannot yet be commented on, this cannot yet be commented on, she said only include the relevant information.
Okay. I don't have an issue with what you guys say in class. Now you import my background. That's important. I want to know why. And I'm going to tell you didn't investigate it properly. Okay. For the purpose of this assignment, it's fine. But once you come to court, I'm going to be asking that. It was very random, seldom, no one really did. Alternative ideas. Evaluations. You guys don't evaluate.
That's
This
not,
is considered, this is what it is, and this is what I did recommend. And that's why I recommend it.
no, I didn't say you don't have to do evaluation, guys. You do have to most certainly do evaluation. I simply told them there are some sections not applicable at the moment because of the lack of information in the case. But in reality, when you do it, you will have more information to complete all those parts.
Okay.
But even if something like this happens and you have a good reason for not including something, have a response ready. Explain and justify the absence of something there. Alright? Because sometimes, especially in a Form 36, an emergency removal, You don't have time to do a comprehensive investigation. The danger there, Mr. Van der Berg must correct me, if you comment on the psychological well-being of the child, but you remove the day on the child on this day, how can you really comment on the psychological well-being of the child? That's the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
But try to have it as complete as possible.
A simple response is, I sat down with the uncle, the aunt, and they weren't sure. Easy. But you've got an answer. And now not just hanging there, you didn't do your job. So yes, of course I think why. They did not have an answer, and therefore I will go and do it. It's all in the manner how you speak, how you present yourself.
Yes.
Okay, very important.
Did you say his strength?
Well, strength. What's your strength?
Okay.
Don't you know? Guys, confidence. Stand up and be confident, that's our job. And I know I'm getting a bit sidetracked if you indulge me. But why are we here? For the children. No one else. Okay. Be confident. You know what you're doing. You've studied this, you know what you're doing. Okay.
Guys are doing well.
Yeah.
You
it's
really
not that
are.
bad.
You make mistakes, that's normal. Alright.
Yeah. And I'm not that bad. I actually stopped and I try and teach you guys something. Okay. If I was my normal self, I don't ease up. I don't stop and try and explain something. It's not my job.
Maybe you should be a bit harsher.
Everyone's still to come.
Okay, Nikile?
Only man. When did this incident occur?
It occurred 2 weeks before the biological father came to me.
When was that? Time of that?
The father came to me on the 25th of March
Which year?
of 2018.
2018. Okay. Do you roughly remember what time?
It was at 1 o'clock, Your Honor.
1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes.
Could you explain to the court why your Form 36 aren't dated?
The Form 36.
Yes. Do you have it in front of you?
No, I
Yeah, pretty approach yours. I think that date's in there. Just say 25 March. You take the year.
that was my mistake.
In whose care was this child when you
The-
decided to remove?
The child was in his biological mother's care, Mrs. Maggie Adam.
Now, where was this mother when you removed the child?
The mother was in her house at 12 Blandern Street.
Okay. Now it comes down to the original question with regards to times. What happened since you removed this child?
In what terms?
What time did you remove the child, did you say?
I removed the child at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Don't guess. Oh, you've got your documents. Is this the time you removed the child?
This is the time that I brought the Form 36 to the mother to sign.
So you removed the child on the 25th.
That is correct.
Okay. Why would you only bring the form later?
Pardon?
Why would you only bring this document at the later stage? Why did you not have it with you?
I submitted the form on the 25th, the same day that the father came in.
But once again, you're not answering my question. Why did you not have that form with you when you removed this child?
I had the form.
But you only brought it to her the next day.
Pardon?
You only brought it to her the next day, on the 26th.
Because she was not available at the house by the time that I came back from the place of safety.
No, you're not answering my question. Listen to what I'm saying. You removed the child on the 25th, that's your evidence, is that correct?
Correct.
Why did you not have the form with you when you approached the house?
I had the form with me, but the mother was not present at her house for her to sign.
Okay. You just testified that the mom was there when you moved the child.
The mother was there, but when I placed the child and I had to go back for the mother to sign the Form 36, she was not
Let
available.
me evade the question. If I'm correct, the mother was there when you removed the child. Why wasn't the document signed there and then?
Because the document had to be signed first by the people at the place of safety, and then I brought it back to the mother.
Okay. In your recommendations, in your report, can you explain to the court why you're recommending that the child not be allowed any contact?
With the parents.
Yes.
I recommended that because the parents might influence the decision that the child may take, whether of the feelings, how the child feels, and where the child wants to stay.
Is that the only options available?
That was the recommendation that I made on that point.
Well, I'm asking now, is that the only options available?
The options that I gave was that the child be taken to alternative care, which is the temporary care in Poch's room.
Okay. Was that the only options available?
At that moment, that was the only option available.
How long have you been doing this, man?
It's been 2 years, Your Worship.
2 years, so it's safe to say it's not your first case.
No, Your Worship.
So all that time, you haven't considered any alternative options.
As I have said, at that time with that specific case, that was the only option that was available for me to take. Your Worship.
Okay? I'll refer you back again, and I'm going to keep on repeating myself until you answer the question. Your recommendation is that there be no contact. Why?
Because the biological parents could influence the decisions that the child may take.
Not even if you supervise the contact.
Pardon?
Isn't that an option? Can you supervise the contact?
I can.
Okay, so there's alternative options that you did not consider. You may answer.
That is correct.
Yeah. I want to refer to evaluation. Could you tell me which aspects did you consider in your evaluation? The reason I'm asking this, and I'll state it out, is that you're repeating the evidence, but nowhere that you come to a reason or you give the court a conclusion to consider as to why you come to this agreement. If you want, you can read it quickly. And I'll ask you to read your evaluation.
Okay.
Yes, please.
On the 11th of March 2018, Mr. LaRue picked Bonnie up for Miss Addo. He bathed Bonnie as he routinely does every night. Mr. LaRue allegedly discovered severe rashes on Bonnie's anus, and the following day, on the 12th of March 2018, Mr. LaRue made a case of sexual abuse against Jason and claimed that Jason had been sexually abusing Bonnie. A J88 was made and it confirmed the rashes, but no penetration could be confirmed. Mr. LaRue refuses to let Bonnie stay with his mother because he feels that his son is not safe in the care of the mother and the mother's boyfriend, Jason. Ms. Addo had been contacted and informed of these allegations and alleged discovery, but has since accused Mr. LaRue of sexually abusing their son. Should I continue?
No, no, that's sufficient for now. So what's your valuation? You know what evaluation is, man?
Yes.
So what's your valuation?
My evaluation of the case was a summary of all that had occurred in the case and the risks that the child may be at.
What's the risk? It wasn't elaborated on. It wasn't discussed. The court doesn't have any document or any information here of what you perceive. You just repeated the evidence.
The risk was that the child may be at risk of being sexually abused.
Okay. Now the JT8. You admitted stating that it only stated that there was a rash. Is that correct? Could you think of, in your 2 years of experience, any other reasons why there could be a rash?
It could be because of a number of reasons, but because the child is still young, he may be at risk. He hasn't stated his views, but the child may be at risk, and that is why I recommended that the child be removed.
You have children, man.
No, I do not have children.
You have brothers, sisters.
Yes, I do.
So if they have a rash, we should remove them from your parents' care.
If there were reasons to believe that the child is at risk, yes.
Okay, well I'll put it to you that there's no reason to believe this child's at risk. The JT confirms it.
But because of the allegations, we work based on the allegations that the child may be sexually abused.
Why did you decide on removal?
I decided on removal based on the allegations that the father had brought forth to me.
Any other options that you could have considered?
At that moment, this was the best. I believe this was the best.
What's your other
decision.
options? Let's start with that.
Another option would be mediation between the both parties.
Just repeat that.
Mediation between both parties.
Please explain how that would be an option in this case.
I would talk to both parties and try to figure out where the problem lies and how the child got the rashes from the mother.
So by stating mediation would be an option, am I correct?
Yes.
And you are familiar that mediation concerns counselling between two parties and seeing if they can come to a resolution.
Would the attorney please repeat the question?
Mediation is two parties using an independent, objective person to assist them in resolving the dispute amongst them. Is that correct? So that would be an option.
Does that answer the question?
It could be a possible option.
So if that's a possible option in your mind, as you've just confirmed, now once again I remind you on the oath, you just confirmed it. Why remove the child if there's an option of mediating this matter?
As I have said, removing the child was at best interest because both parties accuse each other of these.
Ma'am, I disagree with you. Once again, you said there's a possibility mediation could be an option. Okay, I'll leave that for now. Was there any possibility that you could have brought a report to the court first? Prior to removing?
It was of importance to remove the child first.
That's not my question, eh?
I am leading to your answer.
Please get to it.
Would you please repeat your answer, your question, sorry?
Yes. I'm telling you that you've got another option. You could have first compiled a report in order for the court to make a decision, and that there was no emergency in removing this child immediately. You agree? Disagree?
Please answer the question.
I do not understand the question.
You have the act in front of you.
Yes.
Did you read section 151, my apologies?
Section 151.
It's just a heading.
Removal of child to temporary safe care by court order.
Section 152.
Removal of child to temporary safe care without court order.
So once again, I'll put it to you. You could have approached the court for an order to remove the children.
Okay, thank
Thanks.
you.
Yeah. Well done.
Okay,
Positive, you were confident,
calm.
calm. Yeah. Negative. Unsure. Not well prepared.
Biggest thing for me was being able to, is ons nie of, is ons.
Ja, dis skeer.
Well, okay, nee, ek dink dit is okay. The biggest thing for me is that you need to understand why you had to remove immediately. You need to understand that before you put it in paper, on paper. Do you understand what I'm saying? And he's trying to lead you to say, yes, there are many other options. And as soon as you fall into that trap, the question will be, why put the child through a traumatic experience such as a removal if there are less traumatic options? Mediation is not an option in any sexual abuse case, though, which I will discuss with you further in class. And you, again, it comes to the risk. What are the risks if this child is possibly sexually abused and you leave the child there for a day or two before you get a court order? All right. The lawyer might still disagree with you. You must be convinced of your own argument, have the facts straight, and understand why immediately you are removing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mr. Van der Berg, am I completely wrong?
No, I wouldn't say that. No, once again, it doesn't matter what I feel. It's my job to represent my client.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys are intimidated. Finally, someone else standing in and you guys get nervous.
But you did well.
You did really well.
You must just know why you do something. If you know and you're convinced why, then he can say whatever he likes. You just stick to this is why. You can say, you could even say, no, there was another option. Like, for instance, in the previous case, you could have removed the perpetrator. But what are the risks if the grandmother who knew about it, you see, you just have to understand why you do something.
Now remember what you're not doing. You're removing a child. It's a serious step to take. You're infringing on people's rights.
And the other thing is, once you go on in your years and you do your masters, you'll understand more the dynamics of sexual abuse. and contamination, etc. But daar was nog iets wat ek wou gesê het. Ag, ek kan dit nie nou. You did well. Do you have any questions so far?
No question.
Mabocha.